There will be now an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. May we be seated. Let me take this opportunity and welcome our honorable members. Let me take this opportunity and welcome our honorable members to this hybrid sitting, which is conducted through the Microsoft Teams platform and whereby some members are in remote attendance. This hybrid sitting is conducted in terms of Rule 3A of our standing rules, referred to as Rules for Sittings of the House and Meetings of Committees by Virtual Means. Rules of Virtual Meetings in short. Honorable members must, however, note that our rules and orders are still applicable during the proceedings of this hybrid sitting, and we are therefore called upon to adhere to them. You are further requested to remain in attendance for the duration of the hybrid sitting, unless a formal apology to leave the sitting has been duly tendered. The Secretary will ensure the provision of technical support throughout the sitting. Honorable members, all microphones must be muted. The video must be turned off when a member is not speaking. When a member intends to speak, please click the icon to raise your hand. Once you are recognized by the speaker, please unmute your microphone and turn on the video to introduce yourself and speak. Statements by members. Are there any member statements? Honorable Mlombo.
Good afternoon to you, Honorable Speaker, to the Honorable Premier, the members of the Executive Council, to honorable members and the support staff that is here. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, the ANC would like to appreciate the Department of Human Settlement through the stewardship of MEC Mashilo in responding to a concern raised by the African National Congress during a sitting of the 12th of March 2021 regarding the RDP houses at Tegwane South. The houses were finally handed over to 200 beneficiaries. The process between the 12th March to the date of the handover was to ensure that the houses are given to the rightful beneficiaries in order to quell and evict those who illegally occupied those houses. Honorable Speaker, this multi-year project will see the construction of subsidized and bonded houses, the construction of schools, socio-economic facilities and rental units, amongst others. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, Our contract with the people of Mpumalanga is being testified by this milestone. It is against this background that the African National Congress commend Honorable MEC Mashilo for the sterling work in ensuring that our people's dignity is protected through the provision of houses, and the ANC will continue to support the department in fulfilling its constitutional obligation. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable Mashilo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to honorable members and all our administration. Indeed, we appreciate the input made by the Chief Whip, and equally I want to appreciate and thank the Honorable Jeanette Tabete and Honorable Trudy Morgan for having joined me as we're doing the handover of those houses to the needy people. What we have equally done, we have avoided the long process of evicting the illegal people. We have, as department, removed those people that they invaded the house by themselves and make sure the rightful people, they got the houses. For that, we want to thank all members and the legislature and the mayor as well. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honorable Lubisi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, communities in and around Mpumalanga have raised the concern about the electricity billing system by either ESCOM or municipalities. For many years, there is no consistency on the units that one receives when he buys at the beginning of the month versus when he buys in the middle of the month. To put it simple, 500 units bought on the 1st are not the same as the one bought on the 15th for the same month. Honorable Speaker, we are in the middle of a pandemic, unemployment has risen, and household income decreased. Yet there were tariff hikes by ESCOM. This has made life even more difficult for the poor. Honorable Speaker, as a caring ANC-led government, we appeal that the billing system be consistent and that before any tariff hike, the factors mentioned above be considered. We further ask government to reconsider electricity and toll hikes until we pull out of this difficult economic crisis. I thank you.
Honorable Shiva.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet you, the Honorable Premier and my colleagues, as well as Honorable members. Honorable Speaker, what is raised by Honorable Lubisi is true, and it is a challenge we are facing. However, Honorable Speaker, ESCOM introduced this inclined block tariff a long time ago, of which we need to have an opportunity to sit with ESCOM so that we can be able to meet each other halfway. It's something that we are doing as the province together with municipalities. But it is true, it is there, and it affects especially the needy one, Honorable Speaker. But we are trying to address that, but it is there and it was introduced by ESCOM. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sithole.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to the House. Honorable Speaker, in our province, there has been a steady increase of crimes which are committed against women and children over a period of time. It is extremely concerning that even though there were 8,320 reported crimes against women and children in 2021 financial year, only 734 of these cases secured a conviction. During the same period, there were 2,537 crimes against children, and yet again, only 12.7% of the reported cases secured conviction. As we are in a month dedicated to women, I stand before you and I question, how would we deter crimes against women and children in the province if only a few out of so many cases that were reported faced conviction for the crimes that they have committed? Honorable Speaker, may I request the MEC to explain how we will tighten the current gaps which exist in our policing system from the time the charge is laid up until the case is prosecuted, and ensure that we advance the protection of women and children in our province. I thank you.
Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to members of the executive led by the Premier, members of the legislature, and all participants at administrative level, and everyone who is listening to this conversation this afternoon. Now, let me appreciate the concern raised by Honorable Chole. It is an honest and genuine, concern that is engulfing the entire country, not only Mpumalanga. Insofar as addressing this matter is concerned, we are putting systems in place in our police station. You will remember that the issue of GBVF is now a matter that is taken serious at all levels, and all departments in the province have been given an assignment to make sure that we all look into those cases and make sure that whoever is found to be guilty on that particular action is prosecuted accordingly. But insofar as police stations are concerned, we have now a new provincial commissioner who is a woman, for the first time as Mpumalanga to have a provincial commissioner who's a woman, of which we believe that all the causes and the cases concerned raised by Honorable Chole will get the necessary attentions from provincial level up to all the levels, including police stations and all structures that are a family of security cluster will also take part in assisting. You will remember that those cases sometimes are cases that are happening in-house, within families, done by people that know each other. So we are going to give it the necessary attention, and I can assure Honorable Chole and the House that it's a matter that even our Premier in the province is taking it serious. Thank you very much.
Are there any member statements? Honorable Weber.
Madam Speaker, I rise to deliver a member statement on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus. The western black rhino is now officially extinct. The northern white rhino now has one female rhino left. That means that at her death, the white rhino from Sudan will also be extinct. In the latest annual report of SANParks said that the rhino population has dropped by 70% in the National Kruger Park. This means that Kruger has lost approximately 7,000 rhinos in the past decade because of the onslaught of poaching. Although the Freedom Front Plus applaud the arrest of two alleged rhino horn kingpins, Mr. Johannes Groenewald and Mr. Skalk Steyn, One, a well-known big game hunter, we have to cast a shadow on this issue because both of these poachers were out on bail for the same offense, smuggling rhino horn and poaching, when they allegedly committed the same crime again. Groenewald was arrested in 2010 for similar offenses and was out on bail when he was arrested last month on similar charges. Last month, these two were arrested with 19 illegal rhino horns in their possession to the worth of approximately 2.6 million rand, and yet these two repeat offenders received bail in a Nelspruit court for a relatively small amount of 50,000 rand each for offenses leading to the possible extinction of another two rhino species. The responsibility for these 19 rhinos that met an untimely death as a result of these alleged offenders being out on bail lies squarely on the shoulders of the police and the failing legal system, and we hope that there are good merits to the court setting bail for so-called repeat offenders. We call on Honourable Vusi Shongwe, the MEC for Safety, Security and Liaison, to instigate an investigation as to why it is that these two offenders are committing such heinous crimes while the investigation into their first arrest has not yet been concluded yet, and to expedite the pending investigations. MEC Shongwe should establish what is the true root cause of the continuous delay in the finalization of these pending cases. We suggest integrating interaction with the judiciary aspect, the courts and court officials, as this is ultimately where the victory lies. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Shongwe.
No, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I did greet everyone before, and let me appreciate the statement raised by Honourable Weber. It's a very big statement. Sitting where I am, I'm getting this information for the first time. It includes a lot of stakeholders insofar as security cluster are concerned. I am going to take this matter up with the provincial commissioner, and indeed I will want to get the report so that before I can respond in details, I will be lying to the legislature if I'm going to say I know it and it is being attended to. The truth of the matter is this matter is a new matter to me, and I'm going to make sure that I follow it up through the provincial commissioner and all security clusters in making sure that it is followed up. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honourable Sidibe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the EFF to welcome the arrest of two councillors from Emalahleni municipality who were nabbed for selling RDP houses by the police in Emalahleni. The EFF congratulate the work of the police and call for more arrest of these rotten councillors of the ruling party in all municipalities around the province, because this tendency is everywhere in the province, wherein people, rightful beneficiaries, are deprived of their right to shelter by the criminal ANC councillors. I so move.
Honourable Shongwe.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and let me appreciate the statement raised by Honourable Sidibe. I want to appreciate and join him in applauding the police doing their work. That is what is expected of them. Never mind whether the councillor belonged to the ruling party or to EFF or to DA or to Freedom Front Plus, whoever is involved in those activities, it is the work of the police to do. and we expect them to do as such. And thank you very much.
Executive statements. Are there any executive statements? Motions without notice. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I want to deliver a motion without notice on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Honourable Speaker, calling on this provincial government to reinstate the administration of Governor Mbeki local municipality. Honourable Speaker, in May 2021, the MEC stated that the provincial government would uplift the decision to appoint an administrator in Governor Mbeki based on positive developments at the municipality. I find it concerning that to date, none of us are aware of what these developments are, as the financial status of this municipality continues to worsen. The financial recovery approach was enforced in this municipality since August 2018, and during this period, the municipality owed Eskom 825 million rand and Rand Water 152 million rand for the services rendered. Despite this approach, the monies owed to the external entities doubled during this time frame. I thus find it extremely concerning that even though the financial recovery approach has proven unsuccessful in the space of the past 3 years, the provincial government still chooses to rely on it. Honourable Speaker, the same is true for monies which is owed to the municipality, as despite the above-mentioned financial recovery approach, the collection of revenue through the sale of services is still a major challenge in this municipality. For the month ending June 2021, the municipality was owed a whopping 2.58 billion rand. It is clear that Governor Mbeki is on the same downward spiral that affects eMalahleni, and as such, I call on this provincial government to reinstate the administration of Governor Mbeki local municipality before it is too late. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
Motion is defeated. Honorable Mkabela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to applaud and congratulate the EFF for conducting its 3 successful and incident-free regional people's assemblies over the past weekend. This shows that we are growing and heading to the right direction as the organization, and we know and trust that this assemblies has correctly elected the suitable leadership that will lead us to victory in the coming local government elections. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
No.
Motion defeated. Are there any motions without notice?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Makarenge.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, as the ANC, we are concerned about a regraveling project awarded by COGTA that had to be called off around Dr. J.S. Moroka municipality. It has emerged that there has been an interference and threats made against the contractor that was awarded the contract because of being an outsider. The alleged interference is said to have been instigated by certain people who claim to be local businessmen. It is alleged that they demanded a share of a substantial amount from the contractor, and the contractor did not submit to their demands and had to call off the project fearing for his life. Honorable Speaker, this is of great concern to the ANC as the calling off of the project has affected service delivery in the area. Roads that are not properly maintained are a danger to motorists. Honorable Speaker, we therefore call on government to find a mechanism to address such matters so that the ANC-led government can deliver services to our communities without any hindrance from any source. Thank you.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
Agreed.
Yes, so agreed.
Great.
Is there any motion without notice? Notices of motion. Are there notices of motion? Honorable Weber.
Honorable Speaker, my hand is up. It's Honorable Speaker, am I recognized?
Before Honorable Weber, sorry for that. I didn't see on my screen. No, Honorable Mkachwa is speaking on motions without notice.
Yes, Honorable.
Honorable Weber, can you please take your seat? Honorable Mkachwa, can you proceed?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion without notice on behalf of the African National Congress for this House to express its gratitude to all educators, officials and support staff who took advantage of the vaccination program. And Honorable Speaker, the vaccination program successfully commenced on the 23rd of June 2021, and it was supposed to come to an end on the 8th of July 2021, which was extended to the 14th of July. So far, 42,066 educators and support staff has been successfully vaccinated, even though the department would have loved to reach out to all its 53,000 staff complement. It is, however, encouraged by the turnout and the enthusiasm displayed by those who took the vaccination. Honorable Speaker and the honorable members, we further urge all our educators and support staff who have been vaccinated to continue observing the non-pharmaceutical health and safety precautions and be extra vigilant at all times by wearing their face mask, sanitize or wash their hands with soap regularly. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to? So agreed.
Agreed.
Is there any motion without notice? Notices of motions. Are there notices of motions, Honorable Weber?
Madam Speaker, I rise to give notice of a motion. The Freedom Front Plus welcomes Mpumalanga's MEC for Cooperative Governments and Traditional Affairs, Busisiwe Shiva's decision to investigate the financial affairs of the eMalahleni local municipality. However, the party has reservations about this task team and investigation in terms of Section 106 of the Municipal Systems Act, as similar investigations previously in the Lekwa local municipality led to no tangible outcome. We also cannot help to wonder what influence the government has over Chapter 9 institutions, as the Freedom Front Plus has in the past on numerous occasions reported the water woes and proof of human rights violations and corruption at Emalahleni, lodged official complaints with the Green Scorpions, and even asked for the provincial government to step in at Emalahleni. Yet requests were ignored right up till now, with blatant violations commencing. The Emalahleni municipality is reaping the bitter fruits of years of poor planning around the maintenance of the water network, a shortage of skilled staff, and the fact that many residents are not paying their service fees. Earlier this month, an Emalahleni municipal office official was arrested for selling RDP homes. This incident emphasizes the Freedom Front Plus's call that lifestyle audits be conducted on municipal officials and office bearers to prevent corrupt officials and office bearers from being re-elected to the detriment of municipal residents. The Freedom Front Plus move that this House accepts that the Premier Refilwe Msweni-Tsipane will not only keep her promise to conduct lifestyle audits on all officials and office bearers in Mpumalanga, but to initiate it now and put a deadline to it. I so move.
The motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Honorable Mlombo.
This thing. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I rise to table a notice of motion for debate in the next sitting of the legislature in terms of Rule 84, Sub-Rule 2 of the Rules and Orders of the House. For quite too long, Honorable Speaker, the outcry on the abuses, on the torture, on the brutalities and killing of farm workers and farm dwellers in the province, especially in the area of Mkhondo municipality, has not been addressed in a structured and coordinated manner. The killing of the Koke brothers in Pampun Farm has raised a stark reminder of the racist and cruel treatment vented against black workers and dwellers in the farms, especially in the Mkhondo area. I therefore move that this House debate the following matters in the next sitting. Number one, the critical policy gaps and weaknesses on the protection of the rights of farm workers and farm dwellers, the critical analytical overview of the Extension of Security of Tenure Act versus the constitutional rights of farm dwellers and farm workers. Number three, how we can use the upcoming expropriation of land without compensation to pilot giving full rights to land and dignity for the people who work and live in the farming community, but also to make a critical assessment whether oversight bodies and institutions like the legislature, parliament, government departments, and Chapter 9 institutions have made enough effort to deal with matters related to people working and living in farms. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, to deal as to how to create lasting and sustainable peace and harmony between the people who own the farms, which are the farmers, and those who work and live in the farms, which are the farm workers. Honorable Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Are there notices of motion?
My hand is up, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sithole.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to deliver a notice of motion on behalf of the Democratic Alliance to be debated in the next sitting of the legislature. Honorable Speaker, following the COVID-19 pandemic and the related extended lockdowns that came with each wave of the pandemic, I request that at the next sitting, this House debates how we're going to grow the economy and create the much-needed employment in the province. The labor force survey shows the devastation of the economy caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the related extended lockdowns. This report revealed that our province lost 113,000 jobs. In addition to the above, it is shocking to note that the youth unemployment for the province increased to 63% in Q1. Honorable Speaker, these stats are extremely concerning. It is serious and action needs to be taken. We cannot come to the House and rely on an economic reconstruction and recovery plan for the province if we do not outline it by stating that it will create so many jobs by this time frame. We also cannot talk of an economic reconstruction and recovery plan creating jobs if it is grounded on unfinished and stalled projects. Given the above devastation, I call on this House to debate the job losses caused by COVID-19 pandemic and the related lockdowns and provide forward a strategy of how we're going to create jobs in the province by confirming the number of jobs to be created and the set timeline for the creation of these jobs. I thank you.
Motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Are there notices of motions? Formal motions. I am informed that there are no formal motions. We will now proceed with the orders of the day. Orders of the day. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1, SNAP debate on Women's Day.
I have a speakers list in front of me. Honorable Shiba, you are given 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Undunankulu umake Mthweni abahlonipheki besishayamthetho. The declaration of 2021 as the year of Charlotte Maxeke by the ANC has invoked in us the revolutionary consciousness and the revival of the selfless commitment to serve the masses of our people. Selflessness, sacrifice, and commitment to help those in need were the distinct attributes of Charlotte Maxeke that kept her focused on serving the poor for the rest of her life. Her inspiration was crucial in the planning and execution of the successful march to the Union Building on the 9th of August 1956 by the women of the country. Honorable Speaker, today we pay tribute to the brave women who on this day marched to the Union Buildings in Pretoria to protest against the legislation aimed at tightening apartheid government's control over the movement of Black women in urban areas and to destabilize their families. The women comrades who joined the Sharpeville protest in 1961 were encouraged by their bravery. The young women who participated in the June 16 student uprising in 1976 drew inspiration from their resilience. The role played remains a guiding compass and conscious in our struggle to ensure we strengthen the meaningful participation of women within the mainstream of our economy. They gave us the basis upon which the fight to create sustainable livelihoods, intensify the fight against triple oppression, intensify the fight against gender-based violence, and create a violence-free society. Honorable Speaker, a lot of work has been done to address the plight of women in the country in recent time and by government in particular. President Cyril Ramaphosa formally released the one-year progress report on the implementation of the National Strategic Plan to end gender-based violence and femicide 2 weeks ago. This included the partnership with civil society to effect the 6 pillars of the plan. The courts around the country are handing down harsh penalties and sentences to those found guilty of gender-based violence, and conviction rates in sexual offences cases have improved. Government has allocated approximately 21 billion over the next 3 years to support these pillars. It has also directed that 40% of public procurement should go to women-owned or operated businesses to enhance the empowerment of the women of our country. But the same cannot be confirmed about the private sector. Honorable Speaker, akesibonge imbokodo undunankulu wethu eMpumalanga ngokuzibophezela ekuthuthukisa amabhizinisi aphethwe abomama. This dream of women economic emancipation is shared and cherished by Dr. Joyce Banda, the former president of Malawi, who was once voted as the most powerful woman in Africa, when she said, I quote, "It is only when a woman is economically empowered that she can negotiate at household level with her husband about the number of children that her body can have," close quote. These and many other positives by the government are applauded and must be supported. However, Honorable Speaker, the road ahead is the struggle to liberate women is long and hazardous. It should be every day's and everybody's business. We did not fail Mama Charlotte Maxeke by surrendering the struggle for the total emancipation.
Round up, Honorable Member.
The struggle for women liberation shall not end when women are still victims of gender-based violence and femicide. The women's struggle cannot relax when the equity reports still indicate a lower percentage of women in senior and management politics. This scenario is worse in private sector. Honorable Speaker, angiphinde ngisho kumhlonishwa undunankulu ukuthi izingane ezingamantombazana ziyazicelela zithi ake aziphinde ngale program yakhe yama sanitary towels. Ngithi malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi, wathinta abafazi wathinta imbokodo. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Khrovia Morgan, you are given 3 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to the House. As we debate Women's Day, and as we are in the month for women, I would like to call on this provincial government to ensure that we advance the protection of the woman in our province. We have to do whatever it takes to ensure that we live in a society where women are respected, treated equally, and are safe. Honorable Speaker, every year without fail, we debate the plight of women at the hands of their spouses or someone unknown to them. And every single year, after all these debates are done and dusted, nothing happens. Why is it that the lives of women are just pushed to the side? Today, I stand before you all and I make the following proposals in order to ensure that women of the province are protected. In all of our discussions and deliberations on promoting respect for women's rights, we talk about the teaching of our sons to be better, instilling of values which allow for accepting women as an equal counterpart. And despite all of these talks, nothing has happened in our schools to ensure the above is attained. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, through the use of media campaigns and talks or discussions on the rights of women, let us ensure that everybody knows what is gender-based violence and the toll it takes. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, let us use the media to call for a shift of thinking in our society. All too often we see videos emerge of women who are being beaten in public by those known to them, but never will anyone step in and provide assistance. As a deterrent, let us use all of our platforms and call harsher penalties for the crimes against women. Honorable Speaker, if the crimes against women are tight, this is the only way in which we can deter such violent crimes against women and children in our province. Honorable Speaker, in concluding, I believe that we really need to promote and empower the women of this province in the coming years. If we are serious about the safety and promotion of women, kindly adopt the proposal I have made. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Lachmanarain, in 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Makosazana Masilela, Honorable Premier, Ms. Refilwe Msweni Sipani, Honorable Members of the Executive Council, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Honorable Nora Matlangu, Honorable Members of the Provincial Legislature, Heads of Departments, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Honorable Speaker, this year's commemoration of women is held under the theme, the Year of Charlotte Mateke, Realizing Women's Rights. On the 9th of August, 1956, more than 20,000 defiant and fearless women marched to the Union Building in Pretoria to protest against the past laws. It is for this reason that this year, 2021, we commemorate 65 years since the 1956 march against these past laws. As a young woman, I'm obligated to work hard in removing barriers that prevent women from participating in the mainstream of the economy, as well as removing gender stereotyping amongst our society. The struggle for economic and social emancipation of women could not have been realized outside the political realms. It is a journey combined with many challenges of stereotyping, patriarchy, gender-based violence, and many other social ills that dehumanize and discourage a girl child from dreaming big and reaching her full potential. Honorable Speaker, the stigmatization of gender stereotyping has convinced society that men are able to do better than women, and that a strong and intelligent woman represents a threat, a problem, or disruption to the social order of society, rather than an integral part of it. It is only when we look at the negative effects of these challenges on women, we immediately notice the patriarchy expressed against the growth and development of women, especially in the corporate and political environment. We have an obligation to encourage women to support each other and lift each other up, because no one is going to fight on our behalf, or no one is coming to our rescue. We must focus on creating inclusive work cultures and combat unconscious biasness that hold women back. Let us be unapologetic in setting numerical targets for the appointment of women in leadership positions and adequately profile young women in leadership and politics in our efforts to encourage young women who aspire to lead in the future. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude my debate, I would like to say, Mama Charlotte's life served as an inspiration. Her vision for all of us, in particular women, was to encourage us to take control of our own lives and to only rely on our own abilities and strengths. She went out and built schools and churches and involved herself in her community. And that really made an impression on me, because we must come to a point where we realize that nobody is going to come to our rescue. Our attitude and the use of resources must be channeled towards building our communities. Mama Charlotte Mateke once said, I open quote, "We need women leaders, but we need them to have a vision for something." Close quote. Thank you. Siyabonga, bayadanki, ikensile.
Honorable Nyambe, you are given 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am grateful for the platform and cherish the reality that we are surely shifting through an era of revolutionary women making vigorous moves with ultimate sophistication expression. Like our legislature, which have women in key positions, the likes of Honorable Premier, the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, as well as all 4 MECs. But there is still a lot that need to be achieved. Women who are in public life are still enduring intimidation and abuse. And the 2 barriers are standing in our way to be the Winnie Mandelas of today. It is true without any doubt that mostly men are dominating in positions in the political world, and women are second class, or we are used for compliance. Women have fought against all stereotypes, but this is how women respond to stereotypes. They're going on their own way, showing leadership and excelling in their fields, and the world today can see that we are all better off when a woman gets the opportunity they deserve. Of course, we are made of science. Of course, we are fit to lead. Of course, career and motherhood can go together. It is obvious, but unfortunately, it still needs to be said. Honorable Speaker, it is within our deepest veins to make historical events. The fact that the majority of women are still under corporate injustice doesn't mean that it is our destiny. Women raise and nurture a nation. We are the natural leaders of the universe. We carry the significance of life from the Almighty Creator. We are leaders of mankind. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, let us all encourage more women to stand as councillors and take leadership positions. May the world know that we are here, we've been here, and will forever be here to open doors, to bring change, and to take leadership as well as liberating ourselves. I thank you.
Honorable Weber, you are given 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, it's my privilege to celebrate the women and the role that the women have played in my life and the role that women have played in our lives. Maar Speaker, nie ek of my party ondersteun dit dat daar gediskrimineer word deur dames nie. Hulle moet gelyke geleenthede hê. Die dames wat daar in my kantoor sit, ek het net dames in my kantoor. Nie een van hulle was aangestel omdat hulle dames is nie. Elkeen van hulle was aangestel omdat hulle die heel beste was. Hulle het gekompeteer met mans vir die posisies wat hulle gekry het. Maar uiteindelik het ons bevind, daar is geen man wat hulle gelyke is nie. Sedertdien dat hulle aangestel het, hulle werk gedoen, en geen man kan ooit die werk doen wat daardie dames gedoen het. Ek wil daar erkenning daarvoor gee en hulle gelukwens daarmee. Ek dank u, Speaker.
Honorable Chali, you are given 4 minutes.
Yeah, dis die waarheid.
Secretary, can you please assist Honorable Njali because she was on hold and now is missing. Honorable Njali has a network challenge. That concludes the debate on the Women's Day. The Secretary shall read the second order of the day.
Order number 2, questions for oral reply to the members of the Executive Council.
I have a question paper in front of me with questions for oral reply to members of the Executive Councils, which are MECs. I am informed that the question paper was duly circulated to all members of the legislature. We'll now proceed to questions for oral reply as they appear on the question paper.
Reconnected, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable T.M. Makaringe from the ANC to ask the MEC for Finance and Economic Development and Tourism. I will now call upon the Honorable MEC, Honorable Mkachwa, to respond to the question raised by Honorable Makaringe.
Honorable Speaker, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
We can hear you, Honorable MEC.
Oh, thank you. I've got connectivity issues here, so I will try to respond. If I happen to get lost, Honorable Speaker, I have requested the Leader of Government Business to assist me in responding on the issues. Let me, Honourable Speaker, greet your good self and the Deputy Speaker, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, all honourable members and the members of the Executive Council, and the Honourable Premier of the province, Umam Rifilwe, Ntsipane. The question, Honourable Speaker, says, can the MEC give a status update on the organizational stability with regards to the establishment of permanent board, appointment of a permanent CEO, and full completion of the process to appoint workers who were in the pool after mega establishment process? The response, Honourable Speaker, is that the position of mega CEO became vacant due to the expiry of the employment contract of the full-term CEO on the 31st of December 2019. Also noted that the Mega Act Clause 13.3 directs the board, subject to the provision of subsection 4 and the provision of section 8, to determine and appoint the Chief Executive Officer in consultation with the member of the Executive Council. Now, Honourable Speaker, the board of Mega and at its meeting of the 15th of January 2021 resolved to assign the responsibility for the recruitment of the CEO to the HR committee. An advert was placed on the national newspapers on the 31st of January 2021 with the closing date of 22nd February 2021, and 48 applications were received. Of the 48 applications, only 4 applications were women. Interviews were held, and 3 candidates selected and subjected to a screening process for criminal records and verification of their qualifications. All the 3 candidates were cleared, and the board, and at its sitting held on the 29th of July, resolved to recommend the appointment of the candidate who received the highest score, subject to the shareholder, which is the MEC's concurrence, as contemplated in Section 13.3 of the Mega Act of 2030. And I must indicate that the Honourable Speaker, that submission has been received. It is being considered. We might very soon. In fact, a memo has been sent to Cabinet so that Cabinet also concurs, and then the appointment will then be confirmed of the CEO. The issue of the boards, Honourable Speaker, I can indicate that the Cabinet has already concurred with the appointment of a full-time board in Mega. So we can safely confirm that we have appointed a board, although administrative processes are yet to be finalized, so that they are able to start their work as full-time board members. In terms of the OD process, the ODO process has been finalized, and all employees have since been placed in the approved organogram. This has resulted in a reduction of the vacancy rate from 149 positions to 104, which translates to 40%. And question number 2 is that regarding the mega projects, the Legislature Portfolio Committee has raised concerns about the slow pace in the projects like water purification plant in Rifontaine, the Talamba Secunda project, and the International Fresh Produce Market. Can the MEC update the province on progress regarding these projects? The response, Honourable Speaker, is that Talamba Victoria's Shopping Centre is currently not operational due to lack of funding, and the owner and Mega renegotiated their agreement since the parties wished to avoid prolonged legal challenges that would have raised the project. Currently, these parties have agreed that the Mega will take ownership of the property as partial settlement of the initial debt and Dalamba Enterprise shall only operate the supermarket facility for trading purposes. In July 2021, the entity instructed its legal representatives to draft applicable agreements and documentation related to conveniencing. The next step is about preparing the site to make the facility suitable for that trading activities may resume. Operationalization of the Mpumalanga International Fresh Produce Market. Honorable Speaker, Mega is responsible for the operationalization of the market, whilst Public Works conclude the construction of the market. The necessary steps to operationalize the market are to be taken by the envisaged market operating company, which can only be incorporated after confirmation of the final investment positions, both by the IDC, TEBE, and MEGA. The process of reaching finality on the various projects, sponsors, investment positions has taken longer than anticipated, which affected the appointment of the market operator. And also, Honourable Speaker, that it has been agreed amongst the parties that are to own a stake in the market operating company, that although the responsibility of appointing the market operator falls within the ambit of the envisaged company, which is yet to be incorporated, the process of appointing the market operator should start as soon as possible to ensure that there will be adequate time for proper planning and putting in place all the systems required to operate the market. Regarding the provincial economic, which is the third question now, regarding the provincial economic recovery plan and the support to business affected by the recent riots and looting in some areas of the province, what is the concrete plan of the department to respond to this situation? The response is that the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020 found a vulnerable South African economy and deepened the economic challenges. This pandemic had a negative impact on Mpumalanga economy, as confirmed by a negative economic growth of 7% in 2020 and massive job losses. On the 15th of October 2020, we must remind honorable members that the President Ramaphosa delivered the National Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan in Parliament, and a plan that was, or rather a plan that is aimed to rebuild the economy and unleash South Africa's true potential. And immediately after the pronouncement of the National Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, it is also worth noting that the Mpumalanga government wasted no time but took steps to respond to the clarion call made by the President. The ESCO, Lekgotla, agreed to put together a provincial plan coordinated by the department, of which is the dubbed as the Mpumalanga Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, whose primary purpose will be nothing but a complete focus on the implementation of the National Reconstruction and Recovery Plan. This plan focuses largely, Honourable Speaker, on interventions that are not aimed at restoring the economy, but also geared towards building a sustainable, resilient, and inclusive economy. The following are the key interventions areas of the Mpumalanga Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, which are being implemented by respective departments. The first one will be the planned massive rollout of infrastructure, and this will entail interventions identified in the Mpumalanga Infrastructure Master Plan and catalytic projects on basic services, social and economic infrastructure. Number two will be the growth through industrialization, localization, and export promotion. This will be guided by the Mpumalanga Industrial Development Plan that seeks to diversify the economy into downstream manufacturing-based industries. Thirdly is the sufficient, secure, and reliable energy supply and green economy initiatives guided by the Mpumalanga Green Economy Development Plan. Fifthly is the employment stimulus interventions programs. These programs will target the strategic pillars of the SME development strategy namely the development and human capital, business development, township and rural economy stimulation. 6 should be the growth and recovery of tourism, and this is to be guided by both the national and provincial tourism sector recovery plans. And lastly, it will be the agriculture and food security. And the recovery plan of the province intends to build upon this positive foundation, not only to strengthen the provincial agricultural sector, but also to ensure food security for the country. The Mpumalanga Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan will be a very important vehicle to get our economy on track again, and that the much needed jobs can be created for our provincial citizens, impacting positively on poverty and inequality. However, Honorable Speaker, the province will be utilizing a project-based implementation approach. The focus will be on catalytic projects under each intervention, areas highlighted above, with high potential to unlock value chain opportunities for the private sector and SMMEs, predominantly owned by the youth and women. And these high impact or catalytic projects are already in implementation phase, Honorable Speaker. As we speak, they are being implemented, work is taking place, and this will contribute meaningfully to inclusive growth and job creation. The recovery plan clearly highlights what the intervention is meant to address, respond to whether funding is required to implement the intervention. It explains what the impact of the intervention will be and the timeframes for implementation. Honorable Speaker, the department has also assessed the effects of the riots on the provincial economy, livelihoods of our people, and public health. The riots and looting seemed to have been triggered by a political situation first, but later we saw criminal activities took the center stage. We observed blockage of entry, subsequently looting of malls mainly taking place in the province of KZN and later spreading to Gauteng. The riots and looting were also seen in small scales in provinces such as Northwest, the Northern Cape, and Mpumalanga. This coincides with the national and provincial economy that have been devastated by COVID-19 the last year. Mpumalanga was not heavily affected by riots and looting as the two main provinces, and the riots and looting have stopped. However, the province will have to be alert of future similar eventualities and need to be proactive with the following mechanisms. One, they establish a committee that will ensure that communities take pride in their own infrastructure, government to create opportunities for employment, especially for the youth, the private sector to partner with communities to assist in dealing with poverty and stop communities where they invest in skills, and support communities where they invest in skills development and education. Government to also assist in ensuring that we instill patriotism in the youth. The rollout of the implementation of this recovery plan, we see it to be very critical in reversing the mentality that leads into our people having to loot. And we must, Honorable Speaker, appreciate the people of Mpumalanga for the posture that they would have taken in protecting this economic infrastructure in the province, and this they might have mitigated and ensured that the impact is not as severe as it has been experienced in these other provinces. We want that spirit to continue. The next question is that given the fact that the informal sector and the tourism sector in the province carries the hope of many poor and small medium businesses, what is the plan of the department to aid SMMEs and cooperatives in these areas to recover from the traditions of COVID-19 impact? The response to the question is that the province is also working very close with the National Department of Small Business Development to implement the Township and Rural Enterprise Program, in response to the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. The program is focusing on the support of informal sector and businesses that are involved in the value chain of the tourism industry. The province is working with municipalities to identify the fruit and vegetables hawkers who are issued with permits, are provided with seed capital to buy stock. The tourism sector indeed carries the hope of the poor and the SMEs in the province. This is the sector that has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, and it is continuously and directly affected by the COVID-19 restrictions. The department has made available an amount of, and this has been said before, Honorable Speaker, that we have made available an amount of 10 million rand to support SMEs in the tourism industry since this industry was affected by COVID-19. And also that the MTPA has since disbursed part of these funds to both tourism SMEs and informal tourism businesses in the province. The department has developed a provincial economic reconstruction and recovery plan whereby a private sector has been mobilized to provide relief to the small, medium and micro enterprises. MEGA is providing relief in terms of payment holidays to all the enterprises that have been given loans to be able to recover on this sector. And Honourable Speaker, we are towards the tourism month next month, and we are putting plans together to take this opportunity of the tourism month to assist that sector to recover. We are also on the outreach programs where we are engaging with the communities and our SMEs, where we have partnered with your CEDA, TTI, and CIFA, and the NYTA. So we have started already in the previous weeks in the Tilkwatini. This coming Friday, we'll be going to Matsulu, and we have planned to rotate the entire province with this project, hoping that it will serve as a catalyst to revive the township and rural economies, but also impact directly on the informal economy. With these words, I want to thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Makaringi, do we have any follow-up question?
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Let me first remind the MEC that in one of the sitting and also portfolio committee meeting, the department has indicated through the MEC that the appointment of the CEO MEGA, it will be effected on the 25th of June. And I think now they are shifting the goalpost. We need the department, as the aim of appointing the CEO, it was to stabilize the organization, which is MEGA. I think it must be a fast track, and that particular recommendation that has been made be appointed to appoint the CEO, it must be done. We can't keep on putting dates that we are not going to fulfill. Secondly, I think the MEC, let me appreciate, he has responded in all the questions, but I was not, maybe something happened. I did not get clear the response of the water purification plant in Driefontein. With Dalamba, I think the MEC has responded well, said all what is problematic in terms of that project. But with this one of water purification plant in Driefontein, I think in terms of our oversight visit last year, we made the recommendation that we want to see that project kickstarting. And I did not hear the MEC saying that the project is now kickstarting, or else what are the bottlenecks for that project not to have resumed operations. I would want to get clarity on that. I did not hear anything about that project. Thank you.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thought that the honourable member will equally appreciate the appointments of the boards, which from where we are seated, it's a milestone that must be appreciated, so that we don't only focus on the administrative processes and challenges which leads to, because the question of appointing the CEO can prove to be a very tedious process, which all of us, we must pay attention to it and observe all the legislations that inform such appointments, so that at the end of the day, we don't come back to this house and having to account why processes were flouted, why screening processes which must be done by independent bodies were not done accordingly. So all of these have affected the processes of us having to finalize by the 5th. But I've also reported, Honourable Speaker, that all these processes have been completed by now. And this is the part that I think the Honourable Member might have missed when I said all these processes have been submitted. A memo has been signed to Cabinet, so that Cabinet is able to then concur with the appointment of the CEO. And so there's no any other process that is remaining except that. And in number 2, Honourable Speaker, I must agree that probably I did not dwell much on the water purification plant, and my apologies in terms of that. And what I can quickly indicate is that indeed there were a lot of challenges in that project, to an extent where the board of MEGA at a particular time took a decision to step off that project, which means immediately after that, hence the project was left now to the SMME to continue with the project. Then MEGA stepped off. But after the discussions that we had at the portfolio committee, I think this issue was also raised at SCOPA level. And after that, I was able to convene the board of MEGA, took a discussion. They gave me the information as to what transpired, what is the nature of challenges, and also in the main, the challenges relates to market. So in as much as they can be able to produce the water, but they don't have market. Because when they conceptualized the entire project, they were hoping that government would be the biggest buyer, because in all our meetings with drink water, we will be able to support such SMMEs to supply us with water. But since the advent of COVID-19, where the operations of government were changed and the operations were stopped, there were no physical meetings where members will require this water. And also, since there were cost curtailment issues in government, and all this affected the initial plan of lobbying government to then be able to buy this water from the project. So they had to, again, re-strategize and MEGA assist in terms of making sure that they find market for the project. We have since agreed that MEGA must go back and not leave this project in the state in which it is currently in. So I can confirm, Honourable Speaker, that MEGA is back in that project. They are putting together their plans. Of course, seated where I am, I know that there will be budget implications in these matters. And when the time comes, the team is ready, they will be able to submit that. It will come to the legislature so that we are able, where we agree that we must allocate funds to the project, we are able to allocate such funds. So that is how far, Honourable Speaker, I can indicate the issue of the water purification plant. Thank you very much.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honourable members? Honourable members, let me remind you about Rule 104 Sub-Rule 4, the reply to question is limited to 15 minutes. And in Sub-Rule 5, it says, in accordance with Sub-Rule 4, members of the Executive Committee may not use more than 10 minutes to reply, thus allowing members 5 minutes for follow-up questions. I will request the other honorable MECs which will be following, make sure that you utilize your 10 minutes accordingly and allow honorable members to do follow-up questions. We'll now proceed to the next question. The question is from Honorable Mahlangu from the ANC to ask the MEC for help. Honorable Manzini, can you please respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chief Whip, members of the Executive Council, the Premier, and all members of the legislature. The question is, Chief Albert Tuli municipality, specifically Greater Mpulusi, has 10 wards and people must travel plus 70 kilometers to the nearest hospital. There's only one CHC, Mayflower Clinic. Challenges in the CHC are water shortages, shelter, HR staff shortage, waste storage, and ideal ground room. The first question is, has the department considered building a mini or district hospital for the Greater Mpuluzi area? Please finish reason for your response. The response is that at the moment, there are no plans to build a hospital in the area because of the population size that is below the norm of 300,000 for the establishment of the district hospital. Currently, the population of Dundonald is standing at 10,374 and Feni is at 10,904 and Mpuluzi is 19,457. Their population sizes combined do not qualify them for a hospital. Second question, how is the department planning to address the following? The building of a new guard room in the CSC, recruitment of additional staff in the CSC, borehole and additional water storage tanks in the CSC, shelter for ambulances in the CSC, waste storage in the CSC. The response is that the department, through the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport, has commissioned CSIR conduct an audit which will cover the condition, functionality, infrastructure, security, and accessibility of all health facilities, which will assist the department in planning and addressing above-mentioned gaps, because this problem is not only in the CST outlined here, but also in others. Hence, we have requested that we have an infrastructure security accessibility that will the CSIR that will be conducted for the whole facilities. What is the provincial plan? The third question for the department in ensuring that all CSC are able to cater for all concern raised above, as I've indicated that the CSIR audit study will assist the department in planning of a new infrastructure upgrading in line with ideal clinic standard and the cost of maintenance. The government is waiting for the audit report that will be developed into plans to address infrastructure challenges facing the department. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mahlangu, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you to the MEC for the response. MEC, I'm not happy with your response. Remember, health facilities are the priority to our voters. We can't have a community that they don't have maybe a health facility, since you know that the country is facing a serious challenge of COVID. My request to the department is to at least prioritize that community. If we can plan for the next financial year, plan something for that community so that they can be able to get services that they voted for. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As I've said in my response, that we are guided by the norms and standards that the whole country follows in terms of the population size. So, and I've also indicated in terms of the different areas and the population, that does not qualify for us to build a hospital. Hence, in my response, I can't, as an MEC of Mpumalanga, do something that is outside the norms and standards that we are guided by national. Hence, I've responded in terms of how far we are. Services, we are correct. We need to provide services to our communities, hence where we are unable to build clinics. But in this case, we are referring to a hospital, which is impossible for us to build a hospital that does not meet the norms and standards as per stipulated in the national department. Hence, we will continue to provide and follow the norms and standards in terms of where infrastructure must be established in the province. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honorable members?
Yes, Honorable Tabete.
Honorable Tabete, you are noted.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I just want to make a follow-up. Since that community is suffering on the issue of the health facilities, most of the time we get a patient needs an emergency attendant or maybe get ill in the evening. Are they getting any assistance or any quick response from the department since there's no hospital around? Because sometimes we were having the problem of SMEs. So I just want to check with the department. And there's any maybe a 24-hour safety around that area so that maybe they get assistance if there's any emergency from our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable, let me see.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Hence, I've indicated that we need to make sure that the services that we are having currently do cater for our people. And of course, the community that the Honorable Member is raising also deserve to have some services as far as health is concerned. Hence, I'm saying also the utilization of your ambulances also will come key and handy so that if it happens that there are services that need to be given to the community around that area, we will be able to utilize those services. And of course, utilizing the existing CHCs that are there so that in terms of the 8-hour clinics are able to refer to those facilities in that regard. But currently, we'll make sure that we work with that community and find a way that the services and the treatment that they deserve are provided, even if we are not building a hospital currently. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Is there any follow-up question from other honorable member? We'll now proceed to the next question. Honorable MC Sidibe from the EFF to ask the MEC for education. I will now call upon the Honorable MEC Machuba to respond to the questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Premier, the Chief Whip, and all executive members and all honorable members. A question from Honorable Sedibe from the EFF. I would like to ask the MEC for education following. The Department of Education continues to supply free stationery to all public schools, and this act has a positive impact to families and ensures no learner attends classes without school books. The first question: how many service providers are contracted to supply school stationery to the province? And please state the term of the contract, start and expiry date. The response: one service provider was appointed for the supply of school stationery in Mpumalanga province. The contract was awarded to Freedom Stationery, effective from 15 May 2019 for a period of 3 years. It ends on the 30th June 2022. Second question: when does the department advertise distribution or delivery of the stationery to schools? The response: the department advertises bids at least 3 months before the expiry of contract if it deems the service still required in the current format. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Sidibe, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, Honourable Speaker, I do have a follow-up question.
Honourable Sidibe, can you proceed?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My follow-up question is based on I understand the MEC is the current contract, is saying the current contract of Freedom Stationery is from 2019, ending up 2022. But if you check back 20 years or 15 years back from 2019, is Freedom Stationery that is always awarded that tender, meaning that there are no other service providers or companies in Mpumalanga that have a capacity just to deliver books. Because ever since that contract of delivering of books started, is Freedom Stationery that is always awarded the company. Where is the black economic empowerment of our own local companies, if that is the case? Thank you.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Every time when there is a tender that is advertised, all companies are given space to go for tender, and the necessary procedures are followed so as people who qualify can also partake in the tendering system, and the company that qualifies is the one that is given the tender. But I understand the concern of the honourable member, and I think that it is always important that our people should also be empowered. We are going to look into that issue, but we are stating that at all material times we should follow the law to the latter, irrespective of the circumstances. Thank you very much.
Are there follow-up questions from other members? Honourable Tabete.
No, I'm fine, Honourable Speaker.
We'll now proceed to the next question. Honourable Grobler from the DA to ask the MEC for Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. Honorable Mkachwa, can you please respond? Honorable Mkachwa.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I'm sorry, as I said, trying here, but it looks like I'm fine now. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Khoba asked the MEC of Economic Development and Tourism in terms of Rule 102 of the standing orders. Honorable Khoba to ask the MEC of Economic Development with regards to the shopping center in Kingross in Mpumalanga. Can the MEC please indicate the following? Can the MEC please state what is the current situation with Mega and Talamba Victoria's Trading and the completion of the shopping mall, including all loans and monies given or spent from the Mpumalanga government side as well as from Talamba Trading side? The response is that the shopping mall is not operational due to lack of funding. The owner and Mega renegotiated their agreements since the parties wished to avoid prolonged legal challenges that will have risked the project. Currently, these parties have agreed that the Mega will take ownership of the property as partial settlement of the initial debt, and the Talamba enterprise shall only operate the supermarket facility for trading purposes. In July 2021, the entity instructed its legal representative to draft applicable agreements and documentation related to conveyancing. The next step is about preparing the site to make the facility suitable so that the trading activities may resume. Money spent are limited to the loan amount of 6.39 million, which were utilized for construction and security cost. The project has spent over 500,000 since March 2018 to pay the security, whose costs were paid out of SARS refunds. Legal consultation cost for Mega does not form part of the above cost. 2, have any negotiations taken place for the franchise, and if so, what is the outcome? And the response is that the franchisor, which is OK Mini Market, requires commitment from Talamba Enterprise, which shall be in the form of a loan agreement. The agreement is being prepared, and once signed, Talamba will negotiate with the franchisor on the franchise agreement and on the project plan to undertake franchisors' installations. It is one of the conditions of this agreement of Talamba Enterprise to conclude the franchise agreement. Number 3, can the MEC state if the original scope of this project has changed from the original plans, and if so, what has changed and why? Response: the scope of the project has remained unchanged, apart from changes on ownership of the property to address legal issues. As Mega takes ownership of the property, Talamba shall focus on trading from the same facility. 4, can the MEC also state what the economic benefits this shopping center will have for the town of Kingross? The response is that immediate opportunities pertains to employment of a majority of general labor sourced locally. At present, 3 males have been employed to provide security services. It is estimated that about 15 to 20 ordinary jobs will be created, which will assist alleviate poverty from employees and their beneficiaries. Since the supermarket is closer to places of residence, shoppers will save from incurring additional cost. The franchisee shall consider sourcing some of the services from qualifying local suppliers to benefit them. 5, former MEC of Economic Development and Tourism and Finance Honorable Eric Kolwane stated in a media briefing in February 2019 that Mpumalanga government had injected 22 million into this project to stop it from becoming a white elephant. Can the MEC state if this money was allocated to this project? If so, when and how? And if not, why not? The response is that an expenditure on the project is limited to an amount equal to 6.39 million for construction only, and it is in term loan. The 22 million in question were grant allocations to other government-initiated projects whose funds were managed by the entity, being an implementation agent, amongst others. They were realized out of a midterm budget adjustment of 2018-19. Therefore, the statement is incorrect to suggest that 22 million was spent on the Dalamba Shopping Center project. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Robla, do you have any follow-up question?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yes, I do have two follow-up questions. I just would like to start with thanking the MEC for answering the question, I think, quite thoroughly. MEC, I would just like to know, if it wasn't Mega's money, but if you were, as an individual, if you had that amount of money to loan to somebody, would you have loaned it to a project like this? And do you think your return on investment would have been sufficient? You know, as an individual investor, would you have been happy with that? And if not, then I would like to ask you, when are we going to disband Mega? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable MEC.
Honorable Chair of Chairs, thank you very much. I think the question is quite a tricky one, but I can indicate that indeed the investment that was made on the project, we were convinced, and we are still convinced, that it's an investment that can yield the much desired spin-offs in terms of economic growth, but also in terms of making sure that we boost our township economies and make sure that the local traders are able to participate in the economy of the province. So, and also by bringing a service closer to the people. So there are many other benefits that are going to be there with the project. The only snag will then have to relate to the issues of ownership, which affected and prolonged the finalization of the project. If the project would have been finalized in time, these issues sorted in time, and the business started to operate, the returns from where we are seated, they would have been massive. So yes, indeed, the investment, as far as we are concerned, it was a well-placed investment. It's just for us to resolve the recent challenges in terms of ownership, which we are in the verge of concluding. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, do you have any follow-up questions? There's none. There's none. We will then take the next question from Honourable Weber from Freedom F Plus to ask Honourable MEC for health. Honourable MEC Manzini, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. Madam, the following question refers to report that numerous hospitals across the country are currently facing shortages of medical supplies and medicine. According to reports, the shortages are as a result of a recent takeover of Mpumalanga Medicine Depot in Middleburg. How many bidders applied for the tender to manage this depot, and when and where was the application process for this tender advertised? In terms of the response, the department has received 5 bids for the tender in question. The tender was advertised in the Tender Bulletin, Volume 297, dated 8 February 2021. Bongani Rainmaker Logistics has no historical reference as a supplier or distributor of medical supplies and is not a Mpumalanga-based company, on which grounds were they awarded the tender to take over the depot. All received bids were evaluated and adjudicated in line with the advertised specification. Due to processes were followed in line with the provision of the supply chain management regulations when awarding the tender in question. The fourth question, is the depot currently equipped with an adequate number of computers to issue invoices and to keep track of stock, as media reports state that invoices have to be written by hand because of lack of equipment by the contractor Bongani Rainmaker and Osiris. The response, the provincial pharmaceutical depot is very well equipped with all information, technology, equipment, and no invoices are being written by hand. The pharmaceutical depot also has 37 computers and 30 printers for stock management purposes, apart from other processes. Please provide a list of all the hospitals currently facing shortages of medicine and other medical suppliers, and of what kind of medicine are there. Are there currently a shortage? When can state hospital in the 3 districts of the province expect the delivery of their much needed supplies? The depot delivers stocks to facilities on a weekly basis and also at any day on emergency, to when required medicine shortages at specific facilities are attended to on a case-by-case basis, and all shortages are fulfilled timeously. Mpumalanga province, like all other provinces, was affected by the riots, which saw delivery trucks being banned, and most deliveries were affected in the past 3 weeks. However, more deliveries are affected on a daily basis, and stock status is being normalized at all facilities. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now, the fourth one, earlier this month, the Department of Health spokesperson stated that there is no shortage of chronic medicines, only individual cases that would have been investigated. Is the department still sticking with that statement? If so, what was the outcome of those individual investigations? At the time of reporting, no shortages of chronic medication were experienced except for a few individual cases, as stated by the Department of Health spokesperson. The following weeks, the department identified some facilities that experienced shortages of chronic medication. However, the pharmaceutical depot arranged for emergency delivery to the facilities that were flagged as having shortages of chronic medication. Currently, the deliveries of medicines is done as per schedule, and critical shortages are attended to timeously once reported. And over and above this, I can report that myself and the Honorable Premier went to the depot to physically do the inspection and check in terms of the level of stock, of which in terms of the operation, we can safely say that as a province, we don't have a challenge of medicine as I'm speaking. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Weber, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, Honourable Speaker. We are not satisfied with the allocation of the tender to Bongani Rainmaker. We do not believe the allocation was above board. We want to know from the Department of Health how far the SAPS investigations are, and if the department conducted its own internal investigation into the tender allocation and the subsequent failure of the service provider. We do not believe that Bongani Rainmaker is competent to fulfill its urgent duties and request that the portfolio oversight visit be conducted at the Mpumalanga Medicine Depot in Middelburg. And if that portfolio visit cannot be conducted, then the Freedom Front Plus will conduct its own oversight visit at the depot. We are not satisfied.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In terms of what I've said earlier on, that all received bids were evaluated and adjudicated in line with the advertised specification. Due processes were followed in line with the provision of the supply chain management regulation. And as that's the information that we are having, and we have no reason to think otherwise, as per Honorable Webber is saying, but all processes were followed according to the department.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honorable members? We proceed to the next question.
I raise the hand, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Sidim.
And Grobler's hand is also raised, Speaker.
Honorable Sidibe, you will start. You are noted, Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My follow-up question is on the suppliers of the depots who also have a contract with the department to supply other sundries to the depot for the purpose of supplying to all the hospitals and clinics of Mpumalanga. Recently, I've learned that the employees of a certain company that is installing the sanitizers and refilling in the hospitals and clinics have downed the tools because the department and hospitals is no longer ordering the sanitizers or the refills from the company so that they can go and refill the sanitizers in the hospitals and clinics. And this, Honorable Speaker, is very worrisome given the third wave that we are in now in terms of the COVID-19, wherein we are also contemplating a fourth wave. Because that program of the department of having sanitizers in all the wards of the hospitals and in all the clinic strategic areas is helping to fight or reduce the spread of COVID in these busy institutions, because hospitals and clinics are busy public hospitals with a number of people. And in the process, that's where doctors and nurses are working in terms of helping the people who come from home unknown whether is infected by the coronavirus or not. So why is the department not, or maybe I don't know now the development, has the department intervened in that regard to ensure that the people continue working and servicing the hospitals and clinics so that we kept the spread of the COVID-19. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Honorable Speaker, as a department, we are not aware that the officials have down tools. But what I can say is that I remember one day there was a problem of sanitizer, and on that day I was at Rob Ferreira Hospital, and I did some check in the hospital in terms of if whether those sanitizers that we put in all the passages and everywhere else, if there is any sanitizer, and there was sanitizer. In all the facilities that I visit, there is sanitizer. And I've not yet heard, and I know that in terms of the workers, I have a very good relationship with workers in organized labor, where if there's any challenge like this, like the one that Honorable Sediba is raising, they could have called me and say, MEC, there's a problem in the hospitals, we don't have sanitizer. And workers are at risk, because if there's no sanitizer for workers, obviously that could have been raised. So far, Honorable Speaker, I've not heard of that challenge, but of course I'll go back and look at it in terms of whether there is a problem. But where I'm seated, the supplier of sanitizers there, we are having sanitizer. At no point was it raised to me or anyone raise it that there is a problem of sanitizing our facilities. And the facility that I visited, there is sanitized. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable MEC, I would just like to know, I'm glad that the question turned a little bit to the COVID. We've got a very big COVID testing backlog. Why aren't we using weekend testing in the province, and why aren't we using the rapid testing kits in the province to help us to eradicate the backlog? Thank you, Speaker.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honourable Grobler. You are correct. In fact, we want to ask all honourable members here, or maybe from you, Honourable Speaker, let's check in the House if whether all honourable members are vaccinated. Because indeed, it is a problem. We're seeing a slow number of people coming out and vaccinate. We are trying in terms of the 60 years and above, where in the last test that I've looked, we were above 65% of those above the age of 65, but we're not doing well in terms of the 40, 59 and the 35 years of age. So that is a problem for us in terms of seeing the numbers coming out very slowly. So I want to ask the honourable members to first go and vaccinate. If we are here, we have not vaccinated, go and vaccinate, and also put it on social media so that they can see that we are vaccinated. I know other honourable members have vaccinated, but there are other honourable members that I have not seen to see that they are vaccinated. But also in terms of weekend, Honourable Grobler, we did try over the weekend. I remember in the last 2-3 weeks we were at Ehlanzeni, and also in the last week we were at Nkangala. But the numbers are not even also, I remember in Nkangala we got even around less than 100 people that vaccinated, and also here at Ehlanzeni. So yes, we have tried to open over the weekend, but that is not that it has not yielded the results that we wanted to see. And of course, now we are trying to also increase in terms of all our facilities operating on weekend, so that they can also do the testing and also do the vaccinating of the people that are coming there. But of course, it is a serious concern. I agree with you that we need to make sure that our people but the problem is that you can't force them. What we have done, we've opened the sites in all the municipalities, but the people, you can't force them to go and vaccinate. Hence, I'm saying honourable members must assist us in terms of making sure that positive message about the vaccine and also the myths that are there. If we can all stand up and mobilize our community to go and vaccinate, that on its own, it is going to assist us to make sure that we get more people vaccinating. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Speaker, sorry, just on a point of order. Speaker, I asked specifically on the testing, not on the vaccinations. I think the question was answered more on vaccinations. I want to know about the rapid testing, please, MEC. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Remember, we are currently using the PCR testing in terms of, we extended in terms of the number of hospitals that are testing. And so far, the challenge that we had before, where it takes long for people to get their results, it has now been reduced because of what the intervention that we have made in terms of extending the site, in terms of making sure that we are opening more sites in the province. So currently, we have seen an improvement in terms of the time frame of people getting their results of COVID-19. So I can say that where we are, Honourable Grobler, unless you have got, we have got another information, the rapid tests were used in the border gate for people when they are going outside and inside the country. I remember when I was doing my monitoring in the border gate, that's where we're using those rapid tests in those areas. But in the hospital, we have improved a lot as in terms of the turnaround time of getting the results for people that have tested for COVID-19.
The next question is from Honourable Hlophe from the ANC to ask the MEC for Community Safety, Security and Liaison. Honourable MEC, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and the executive members as well as members of the legislature and all the support staff. The question coming from Honorable Hlophe from the African National Congress is asking the MEC whether he's aware of the outcry and the commitment government made for a police station in Driefontein. And the direct question, the direct response is, yes, I'm quite aware of that. We are working tirelessly in assisting those citizens around that area, guided by the constitution of the country, to meet their needs. But we have an interim arrangement that is trying to provide assistance to those communities there. First and foremost, there is a satellite police station there in Driefontein, and which is under Derkisdorp, which both of them are eligible to assist our people in that particular area, so that while the National Department for Police is trying to make sure that they build a fully fledged police station in that area, which is in their top priority. But that particular arrangement can assist them, and it is part of the top 5 provincial list that needs to be upgraded. Then the following question, when will a police station be built to help the community of Driefontein achieve safety and security? The direct responsibility is that the fully fledged Driefontein police station is earmarked to be constructed next to Driefontein Community Library site clearance, which was finalized in 2016. The project is now in the planning and design phase. Processes are on course to complete the upgrading of the satellite police station to accommodate the needs of a fully fledged police station, while their plan and design are in process, but eventually we're looking forward to have a permanent structure there. The contractor is expected to finalize all construction and renovation work at the right time, including repairs to the cell holding facility by the end of August 2021. The construction phase is dependent on the approval by the National Head Office of the SAPS. Well, there's no exact timeline which can be given in respect to this final phase, but the matter is receiving an utmost priority by all levels of management. The question 3 is regarding Mahamba Police Station. Is the MEC aware that this police station has no community it serves under, since it was demarcated to Mpumalanga from KZN? Well, the response is Mahamba Police Station services a geographical area of 465 kilometers square and a community populated to 10,345. This including 18 farms and small holdings, as well as the arterial route between South Africa and Kingdom of Eswatini. In addition, all crime generated at Mahamba port entry is dealt with Mahamba Police Station. The next question after that, given the Driefontein community qualification to have a police station, yet there is an underutilized Mahamba Police Station, what is the plan of the department to maximize the available resources by shifting the Mahamba Police Station to the dedicated to the people of Driefontein? And the direct response is Mahamba Police Station is not underutilized. There are no plans to divert resources from Mahamba Police Station for the purposes of servicing the community of Driefontein. However, once the implementation of a fully fledged police station at Driefontein commences, resources will be strategically redistributed from police station throughout the province in order to capacitate the police station at Driefontein. Those are my responses, and take into cognizance, Honorable Speaker and the honorable members, that police stations are a national competency. the Department of Police. Thank you very much.
Honorable Hlophe, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think the MEC has responded to my satisfaction. Thank you very much.
Any follow-up questions from other honorable members? We'll then proceed to the next question. It's from Honorable Shabalala from the ANC to ask the MEC for human settlement. Honorable MEC, can you please respond to the questions raised?
Thank you very much, the Speaker, and a very good afternoon to honorable members. Indeed, it's always good to get the questions. I was hesitant earlier to correct what Honorable Sidlu was saying. There is no councillor arrested in Emalahleni, so that information is misleading. But nonetheless, Honorable Speaker, we have received question. The question goes as follows: can the Honorable MEC give us his plan for the next financial year on how is the department going to respond to the shortage of housing? The response, Honorable Speaker, goes, going by the declining funding stream and the poor economic outlook, an estimated number of around 3,000 housing units is planned for the year 2022-23 financial year. A total of 2,890 low-cost houses referred as RDP for authority was planned for the current financial year, that is 2021 and 2022 financial year. This number is a far cry from previous years targeted, which has been a decrease from 9,301 housing units in 2015 and 2016 financial year. Further to the above, there has been a shift of focus from the provision of low-cost houses to service sites. The National Department and the province are now advised to prioritize the availing of land and servicing of sites to encourage self-build. As far in the current financial year, we have appointed service providers to service 7,559 sites across the province. That will indeed assist this process to reduce the backlog of almost 200,000 in the province, if indeed we encourage people to self-build, and at the same time the government will provide the service land. The next question: there is an outcry in the province that people are forcefully occupying houses that are not allocated to them. What is the plan of the department in ensuring that these houses are occupied by their rightful owners? The illegal occupation of houses is an area of a great concern to the department. To mitigate against such, the department has strengthened its processes to ensure that the beneficiaries are identified and notified of the construction of their houses at the early stage of construction. By doing so, we will indeed know exactly the house that is get built for them and do the proper monitoring to avoid the house being illegally occupied when the house is completed. We'll as well observe how the house is constructed in terms of the quality, and they'll make sure that there is nothing happen for them. That will assist us to mitigate and deal with the issue of the illegal occupation and avoid the department spending money in court to litigate, to evict those people. The third question, Honorable Speaker: what progress has the department made with regard to 5,000 sites for different categories of housing program and the completion of 3,000 units. The response is as follows. In the 2020 and 2021 financial year, the department managed to service a total of 2,058 sites of the targeted 5,000. This was affected by the lockdown and the unavailability of bulk infrastructure in the areas where the construction is taking place. In the first quarter of the 2021-2022 financial year, the department has already delivered 912 service sites of the 7,559 sites. On completion of the housing units planned for the current financial year, that is 2021-2022, as of end of July 2021, department has completed 1,131 housing units and well in course to complete the balancing of 1,869 housing units by the financial year end. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Shabalala, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and a very good afternoon to all members who are connected and those who attended in physics. Honorable Speaker, I must appreciate and indicate that the MEC has responded adequately in all the questions. I must indicate that as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, I am glad that they have managed to intervene on the Tekwane project, wherein it was handed over.
Point of order, Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I'm glad that the Honorable MEC has managed to respond in all the questions, and there is progress in all the issues that we have a complaint or forwarded to the department as an outcome. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
There's a point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Shabalala, can you please just pause and hear the point of order from Honorable Sidibe?
I'm done, Honorable Speaker. Thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
But you are late, Honorable Speaker. You must take us serious. Because now you see she's done, and she's through, she's done. I was saying that you asked for a follow-up question, not appreciation messages or messages of support. So honorable members must know if they don't have follow-up question, they must not lament. Because here is about questions, oral questions. Honorable Speaker.
And what rule is that?
Honorable members, can you please... Can you please abide by the rules of the House? If the member is still speaking, you must not interrupt that member unless you are raising a point of order.
Yeah, thanks for the...
Can you please proceed, Honorable Sidibe, so that we hear you?
Yeah, I was saying honorable members must stick to question, not laments and messages of support. If you don't have question, there's no need to lament, because here you are asking follow-up questions. We're dealing with oral questions to the MECs, not messages of support and appreciation. But I also want to call the MEC to order. If he is not informed, it's not a problem. You must go and investigate and research MEC Mashilo. 2 of your councillors were arrested and are out on bail in Emalahleni last week for selling RDP houses. It's even on the newspapers. I will send you
Honorable Sidibe.
Newspaper, the high fact. Yes.
Honorable Sidibe. Honorable Sidibe. We are now not raising that point of order, but you are also raising other issues which the MSC must respond to. And the time which was allocated was for the honorable member which raised the question to do a follow-up question. And the member doesn't have any follow-up question, and I will allow honorable members to raise follow-up questions if you have any follow-up questions.
I don't have, thank you. I was just correct.
Honorable Sidibe, you are not recognized.
Correct orders here for now.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honorable members? Honorable Sidibe.
I don't have a follow-up question, Honorable Speaker. That hand was raised long ago. It's an old hand.
We'll proceed to the next question. Honorable Nyembe from the EFF to ask the MSc for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honorable MSc Shiba, can you please respond to the questions?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Angiphinde ngibingelele. Kundle yonke esishayamithetho bese ngibingelele ngaphambilini. Honorable Speaker, the question is from NG Nyembe. From EFF, ask the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The question, the department has placed certain municipalities under Section 106 of the Municipal Systems in the year 2020, namely Dr. J.S. Moroka Local Municipality, Governor Mbeki Local Municipality, Dr. Pixley Isaka Seme Local Municipality, to mention but a few. Some of the mentioned municipalities were later placed under Section 139(1)(b) of the Constitution, namely placing them under administration. For its failure to execute the legislative mandate, reference is made to the following municipalities that are placed under the said provisions of the Constitution. That is Dr. J.S. Moroka Local Municipality and more recently, the Likwa Local Municipality. The question is as follows. Why is it that there is no mention of the progress report submitted against the Dr. Pixley Isaka Seme Local Municipality? Because it was also one of those placed under the forensic investigation. The response is as follows. The municipality is addressing the findings of the Section 106 investigation report. It can also be reported that various recommendations are still subject to internal investigative matters, and from this, consequence management will follow. The latest report submitted by the municipality on the 30th of July 2021 has shown progress in addressing the findings. 5 of the findings have been resolved, 8 are still in progress, and 1 has not been addressed. On the 16th of July 2021, disciplinary processes against the municipal manager were started, and these are ongoing. On the 2nd of June 2021, the PMU manager has been placed on suspension pending investigations into allegations of misconduct. The municipality is also in the process of finalizing the appointment of the presiding officer and prosecutor for other officials implicated in allegations of misconduct. The municipality will be instituting disciplinary processes against all implicated officials. The department will be monitoring the implementation of these disciplinary processes. Question 2. By what date will the said municipality be placed under the same Section 139(1)(b) of the Republic of South Africa's Constitution, since it has shown that indeed it is unable to redress its unwanted practices found by the forensic investigation report, and more importantly, the recent search and seizure by the Hawks? The response: at this stage, there is no intention to intervene in Dr. Pixley Isaka Seme Local Municipality in terms of Section 139(1)(b) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. However, the Department and Provincial Treasury will continue with providing support in terms of Section 154 subsection 1 and Section 155 subsection 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa of 1996, read with Section 105 of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act of 2000. Question 3, why are those implicated to be against the law not suspended, disciplined, and subjected to the law of the country? Response, as indicated in the first response, the municipality has started the processes of instituting disciplinary actions against those implicated in allegations of misconduct. The MM is on suspension and is undergoing disciplinary processes. The PMU manager has been suspended. The municipality will be instituting disciplinary processes against all implicated officials. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Nyembe, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to find out who is misleading who, because the suspension of the MM and the suspension of the PMU relates to two different things, not the story of Section 106. So I don't know whether they are taking advantage for the things that happened that made them to suspend the PMU, and now they are relating it to the Section 106. Because the cases are too different. I really don't know who's misleading you. For your information, the PMU was suspended for defrauding the municipality with a tender for the bricks for doing the paving, not the Section 106 report. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think, Honorable Nyembe, if you have the information that is different of what I'm having, because when we request a progress report from the municipality, we check on the findings that have been on our table. And if you have another information that we don't have, I will be very much happy if you can forward that information to me so that I can also check what you are saying. But as a COCTA, when we request progress reports from the municipality, it is based on the Section 106 that we have instituted to that municipality, and also the findings in that regard. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Any follow-up from other honorable members? We proceed to the next question from Honorable Sitole from the DA to ask the MEC for Education. Honorable MEC, can you please respond to the questions?
I've raised my hand, Honorable Speaker, on the follow-up. You must check the system.
Sorry about that, Honorable Sidibe. You are recognized to do your follow-up question.
Progressive. I know you hold the decorum of the House perfect, more than any other speaker that I knew before. Now, thank you for that. No, my follow-up question on the MEC for COCTA is why are they not, as a department, opening criminal and corruption cases against all officials implicated in the municipality? Why must it take the opposition parties or the EFF in particular to open cases against corruption? Why are they silent and always rely on internal processes? Even where there's evidence that an act of corruption has taken place in this municipality. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Sedibe, if you can also provide that information, if you have the cases that you have evidence that you have opened a case. However, what we are doing, it is as per the law. We are being guided by the law, and you must remember that municipalities are the other sphere, and they are being governed by law. And what we are doing as a COPTA, after the investigation, we refer all those findings to them so that they can be able to institute any disciplinary action against those that have been found guilty. So ours is to do that, but we haven't have any case that have not been resolved by the municipality. If there are such cases, we can also do what you're doing. But until now, municipalities are able to respond to all the findings that we subjected to them. Any cases that maybe need to be referred, we referred those cases to MEC Shongwe so that SAPS can deal with those cases. But we don't do it our own because we are working together with other MECs. Thank you very much.
It can be. You can't send the very same case to the criminal.
Honorable Sidibe.
The criminal.
Honorable Sidibe, it's not a dialogue. If you want to raise something, you must raise via the speaker.
I'm not covered, Honorable Speaker. I don't know what that one is saying. Who's that? I would like to know.
Honorable Sidibe, can you say what you want to say?
Yeah, I was saying, I want to hear the one who's saying in Vegas. I'm not covered, Honorable Speaker, but it's fine. We'll write to the MEC because Auditor General South Africa Act as amended empowers her to open the case. My worry is that you cannot take the findings back to the municipality and expect the municipality to act on those findings, because they are all implicated, the whole troika in this process. So it won't be save the purpose, but we'll engage the MEC aside with regards to these matters. Thank you, Speaker.
I will be glad.
MEC Shabalala, I'll drink the tablets after here, don't worry.
Honorable Speaker, I will be glad.
Good boy.
Honorable MEC.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm saying that I'll be glad if Honorable Sedibe can write to me and indicate that, because I've also talked about the funding that have not been addressed in my response, and that finding has been also forwarded for investigation and conduct by SAPS, and that on its own must be handled by the relevant MEC, Honorable Speaker. However, I will wait for the letter from Honorable Sedibe. Thank you very much.
That's in order, MEC. Thank you.
We'll proceed to the next question. The next question is from Honorable Sitole from the DA to ask the MEC for Education. Honorable Machuba, over to you.
Thank you once more, Honorable Speaker. A question from Honorable R.J. Stolle from the DA reads as follows. With regards to the planned school for the deaf and blind in Mpumalanga, can the Honorable MEC please indicate the following? 1. Since the initial announcement of the school for the deaf on May 24, 2011, in the 2011-12 budget speech by the then MEC Regina Mahaule, what has been budgeted and spent yearly on this project? please provide a detailed report on tender numbers or project name, who the tender was awarded to, when project was done by, and the actual money spent from date of announcement to present date. Response: expenditure to date. In the year 2018 to 19, the department spent 2.2 million for concept design investigations and disbursements. In the year 2019 to 20, the department spent 870,000 for carried over works in terms of concept design investigations. Geotech, geohydro for underground water and disbursements. In the year 2020 to 21, no expenditure was incurred as the department was awaiting the final investigation tests, including the water quality tests. Procurement details: the carried out professional works were done through the implementing agent, that is, the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport, where term consultants were used. The department therefore indicates that no tendering process has been carried out yet. Number two, why is this school still not built after 11 years? What have the challenges been? Response: status on the provision of the school for the deaf and blind. From 2011, a number of attempts have been made to find suitable land for the school. Following is the recent status of the school for the deaf and blind. In 2018-19 financial year, 3 sites were identified at Umchendi and as part of planning and design. A feasibility study was conducted on the first prioritized site, and it was found to have challenges with access to bulk services. Failure of the first site led to the commencement of feasibility studies on the second site before the end of 2018-19 financial year. During the feasibility study, the municipality disapproved the request for connection of the school to the bulk water supply, stating reasons of water shortage. Feasibility studies on the second site. When the department received the disapproval letter from the city of Mbombela municipality, connect the school to the water supply, the engineering team was requested to explore their alternative, and below is the summary of the outcome. Boreholes were drilled and yielded adequate water for use by the school. However, sustainability of the water source could not be confirmed. And the application was made to extract water from the nearby river stream. Unfortunately, the process of approval by the different stakeholders was slow. The department received approval from the last stakeholder, Irrigation Board, in January 2021, after the decision to relocate the school had been taken. Question number 3, please explain why the 2 previous identified pieces of land, Mbombela and Umchendi, were not deemed fit for the school of the deaf. Please provide the environment impact study reports for these 2 properties. The reasons why the 2 sites were deemed not fit are provided in the above detailed discussion. It should also be noted that no environmental impact studies were conducted, as the consultants were still focusing on the water sourcing strategies and confirmations thereof. Fourth, has the department done survey to find out where the majority of learners who will attend this school reside? Response: the department collaborated with Start South Africa Mpumalanga since the inception of the project in 2011 to ensure official statistical data is used. Community survey of 2016 was used to estimate the numbers. It has to be noted that in the categories of hard hearing and very low vision, some of the children are already attending ordinary schools if their barriers fall between mild and moderate. The numbers are as follows, according to the municipalities and districts. Ehlanzeni, we've got 4,280. Those are visually impaired, and 2,626 hearing impaired. Harsibande, we've got 2,215 visually impaired, and 1,473 hearing impaired. Kangala, we've got 3,059 visually impaired, 1,404 hearing impaired. The grand total is 9,554 visually impaired and 5,503 hearing impaired. 5. Recently, the MEC mentioned that the School of the Deaf will be built in Bombela after the Premier stated Emalahleni. There's a new property in Emalahleni on Bombela been identified or purchased. How far is the department with the planning and design of this school? The department is currently in the process of soliciting a new site in Emalahleni, and once the new site has been confirmed, the department will commence with planning and design on the new site. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honorable Sithole, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I do have a follow-up question. Thank you, Honorable MEC. I just want to find out, in terms of the design of the school, how much is the school envisaged to accommodate, like how many learners? Because you've just given really a large number, like almost 10,000 learners that will need to attend the school. So I just want to find out if the current design of the school is actually accommodative of all these learners that need this school so disparately. Thank you, Honorable MEC.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think that one will still have to solicit the actual expected number of learners in the school. And I'll make sure that the honourable member get the information through writing.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honourable members? Honourable CDB.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me appreciate the move by the department.
When I appreciate it.
Yeah, the school. And then the school is important. I don't appreciate the way. I'm not a praise singer. When I saw my blue lights, I'm not. So, Honorable MEC, you know, I have an interest like you in education and the learners. All right, thank you. Order. Point of order taken,
Honorable members.
Now.
Honorable Sidibe, can you please just pause? Honorable members, I request that you must not interrupt a speaker when he or she is on the platform. Honorable Sidibe, can you please proceed with your question?
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Honorable Sidibe, just pause. Honorable Mlombo.
Honorable Speaker, we respect the rules of this House. We agree with you that we should not interrupt Honorable Sidibe, but accordingly, Honorable Sidibe must respect the rules of this House. Since we started today, he has been deliberately undermining the rules of this House. So we agree with you, Speaker. We will not interrupt him, but he must respect. Thank you.
Honorable Sidibe, can you please proceed?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now, I was asking a very important question to the MEC because I know he has got passion with education and the safety of the learners. So, like what happened in KZN, which forced the schools to be closed down due to the COVID infection to learners. What is the plan there? Because unlike like the Department of Health, I know that the good program of sanitizers in the schools has also stopped. There are no sanitizers, there are nothing to refill. All those equipment are empty. How do you address this so that we don't see the situation of KZN in Mpumalanga where school will be forced to be shut down? Thank you.
Honorable
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Sidiba. Let me appreciate that you appreciate the school and also appreciate the information that you've given us. Ourselves as a department, we have allocated to different schools resources so as they can purchase all the necessary sanitizers. And if there are schools which are facing such a challenge, I would appreciate if you can give us that information so as we can be able to follow up and make sure that the safety of those learners is guaranteed and we intervene to save the situation. Thank you very much.
That's in order, MEC. Thank you.
We'll proceed to the next question from Honorable Weber from the Freedom Front Plus to ask the MEC for Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. Honorable MEC, can you please respond to the questions raised?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. The question reads, Honorable Weber to ask the Minister of Economic Development and Tourism with regards to the progress report of the 2018-19 financial year, reasons for the irregular expenditure of 8.4 million were deemed justifiable and thus no disciplinary actions were taken against any officials. Can the MEC indicate the following? One, what was the money spent on? Which officials were responsible for the expenditure? And what were the reasons given that were deemed justifiable? In response, Honourable Speaker, we must indicate that we have not been able to identify the figure that is referred to in the question, and as a result, we are unable to respond to the rest of this question, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable MEC, are you still there?
Yes, Honourable Speaker, I've finished my response. I've outlined the difficulty of us responding to the question. Maybe more clarity on the question can be provided, but as far as we are concerned, we could not verify the figures that Honourable Weber is referencing on. Thank you.
Honorable Weber, can you please clarify on the figures which you raised on the questions? Because the Honorable MEC doesn't agree with the figures which you raised. How did you find that is 8.4 million?
Madam Speaker, these are the figures that appear from the reports. And I would like to know ask the MEC, what are his figures? Are there other figures that we discuss those figures? But these are the figures that we have established.
Honorable MEC, can you please respond so that you give us your picture versus the picture of Honorable Weber?
Honourable Speaker, our view is that we could not really furnish any response. If Honourable Weber can rework on the question so that it is forwarded to the department and we can gladly respond to the question, whether in writing or not. Whether the question will need to be reworked in the sitting or it will need to be reworked and be submitted to the department, I will leave that to your judgment, Honourable Speaker. But our view is that because we don't want to lie or to preempt as to what the question seeks to raise. So we base our attention on the questions as they come to us. And we had a difficulty when we were working on this specific report. But if the question intended to say, I must indicate the amounts in terms of the irregular expenditures of the department that were recorded, probably it's a question that should have been phrased in that particular way so that we are able to then engage the question. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honorable members, it seems as if there is no agreement between the Honorable MEC and also the Honorable Weber. Maybe can we request Honorable Weber to rework the questions and simplify it in a way that the department can be able to respond. Honorable Weber.
Honorable Speaker, can I ask the MEC whether there were any irregular expenditures there? Even if we disagree on the amounts, were there irregular expenditures there, and then give us the reply on that. What was done about it?
Honorable Speaker, can I come in? I've raised my hand.
Honorable MEC, if you have the answer for that.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I'm saying here, Honorable Speaker, accumulatively, the department for the past previous years had an irregular expenditure of over 100 million. But in the previous financial year, we did not have an irregular expenditure. So hence, we could not locate the amounts as indicated in terms of what irregular expenditure are they mentioning, for which financial year is that, because accumulatively for the last financial years, it amounts to that. I can deal with the processes that have been undertaken in terms of condonment of such irregular expenditures and all those processes, but that's not what the question asked. So I'm simply saying, Honourable Speaker, and begging for indulgence to say, can Honourable Weber probably research more on the question so that it is specific when it comes to us, it does not create confusion, so that we're able to, by all means, respond to the Honourable Member in whatsoever question that is being posed to the department. We are here, we are available to respond, but we can't respond to a question that we don't understand, because in our books, there's no such amount as I'm speaking to you now. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, can we request Honorable Weber to give the department the detailed report, if you have supporting evidence that you have, supply it to the department so that they can be able to respond. Now it seems as if you've got another information and the department doesn't have that information. It will be easier for the House when you provide all the details or the questions to the department and put annexures there so that the MEC can be able to respond. You were raising issues of the 2018-19 financial years, which the MEC was not there. Can you please assist the MEC so that he will be able to be accountable to the House?
Honorable Speaker.
Can I give you Honorable Weber?
Madam Speaker, if I do so, is he prepared to give the answers in the House here?
Honorable Weber, the MEC will be able to give the answers in the House. He is accountable to the House. He must be able to account. I don't think there's a problem on that regard. You should follow up your questions and put it in writing so that the MEC would be able to respond in the House. Honorable members, can you please move to the next question? I have received the leave of absence from Honorable Lubisi, and Honorable Mlombo will be standing on behalf of Honorable Lubisi. The next question was from Honorable Lubisi from the ANC to ask the MEC for Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. Honorable MEC Msibi, over to you. Can you please respond to the questions raised?
Before Honorable Msibi, Speaker, I've been raising my hand. I don't want to bring point of orders because there's nothing out of order here, but I wanted to raise a matter.
Honorable Sidibe.
Yes.
Honorable Sidibe, I did not recognize you to speak.
I know, that's why I'm asking you to recognize me, because I've been raising the hand.
Honorable Sidibe, can you please take your seat and allow Honorable Msibi to proceed to answer the questions?
You are suppressing me now, Speaker. That is suppression.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me greet you, the Speaker and the members of the Executive and Honorable Premier and all participants in this meeting. We're here to respond to questions raised by Honorable PM Lubis. The first question is, can the MEC unpack the progress or lack of in the agri-hub of Mkondo and the one-stop center in that municipality? The response is, the Mkondo agri-hub is complete in terms of the top structure. However, it is not operational due to compliance issues that were raised by the municipality for the agri-hub to receive its occupation certificate and commence utilizing the facility. Amongst other challenges is that the department should build its own septic tank to dispose of the waste that will come from the operations of the abattoir that is part of the agri-hub. The appointment of the agri-hub operator has already been concluded. In terms of the one-stop center, the department started the project with phase 1, which included the earthworks and construction of fence. The phase 2, which is the top structure construction, commenced during 2020, and progress on the top structure is 20%. The second question was, how much has been spent in both the agri-hub and the one-stop center at Mkondo? Is there a value for money for the provincial government has spent on these two projects worth it? The response is as follows. The department has to date spent 57 million on Mkondo agri-hub. As already indicated, the Mkondo agri-hub is almost complete, and the department is only assessing of compliance as raised by the municipality. Once the occupation certificate is received, operationalization of the facility will commence. In terms of one-stop center, 21 million has been spent on both phase 1 and phase 2. Significant budget was spent on earthworks during phase 1 of construction through location and the type of soil that demanded substantial earthworks of the site to acceptable standard for construction. During the same phase, there was palisade fencing constructed. Unfortunately, extensive vandalism and theft derailed progress on the project, which subsequently led to an increase on expenditure. Number 3, given the challenges the province is facing on proper management and operation of the agri-hubs, what is the department approach to implement an effective and efficient strategy on the operations of agri-hubs in Mpumalanga? The response will speak as follows. The department has since had discussion with 2 appointed agri-hubs operators to tighten or
review some of the key operation agreements entered into. This will also ensure that there will be a dedicated structure that will continuously play an oversight on the monitoring and evaluation of each agri-hub. Secondly, the two operators are now to work as a team to enhance the logistical support and services. Question 4, is the MEC aware of the situation in the province where even the Youth Fortune 40 initiatives are having a challenge of effective operation, and what is the solution the department is proposing to make the Fortune 40 work better? Our response as follows: we are aware of the challenge, and we are aware of the operational challenges facing some of Fortune 40 projects. Most of these challenges were caused by budget constraint and the impact of COVID-19. However, to ensure that there are effective operations in all Fortune 40 projects, the department has engaged traditional leaders, both provincial and national departments and private sectors, such as Social, in order to form partnership that will assist in ensuring that Fortune 40 works better. Among stakeholders that the department is engaging is the National Skills Fund, which will come in handy in co-funding some of the initiatives of Fortune 40 in order to address the challenge of budgetary constraint. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Mlombo, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yes, I do. Is the MEC in a position to give us a time frame in terms of the operationalization of the Umkondo Agri-Hub? I'm asking this question, Honourable Speaker, because the Agri-Hub was finished in the last financial year. In November last year, we went there and the Agri-Hub was still not operational. So is there a way that the MEC can give us an approximation of the time as to when will it be finalized in terms of operationalization? In terms of the one-stop center, maybe we should request the MEC to visit the one-stop center, because there is no equation in terms of what has happened in the one-stop center and the 21 million that the MEC is talking about. The work that has been done there cannot even equate 5 million. So I will not have a follow-up question, but request the MEC to go there by himself and look at the work and the 21 million that he has been told about. Thank you.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thanks, Honourable Mlombo, for the question and the request. The first question on the time frames, our target is November, it's 3 months. Looking into the issues of the septic tank, will give a progress report during that time. The issue of the one-stop center, I must indicate that the entire team of the office went there. I was not well at the time they went there. I was part of the delegation. And upon the coming back, we are not going to present now the process that we are undergoing, because, Honourable Speaker, we must indicate that it is true that the money spent, there's no value for money not spent, there's no equation. And there are processes which we think want to engage with first the chairperson of our portfolio committee and the Honourable Premier, and as we speak, there are some investigation to that effect. Thank you.
Are there any follow-up questions from other honourable members? Honourable Weber, do you have a point of order?
Madam Speaker, is there something that can be done? We are forced to have meetings, hybrid meetings here, but it's virtually impossible to hear what the MECs have to say in response of our questions. People who are not here sitting in the House, it's virtually impossible. Can't we do something about it that we at least can hear what they say? Because I can't follow the responses from the MECs.
Thank you very much, Honourable Honorable Weber, I think the administration will assist us on that regard, because I was also struggling to hear some of the responses and assist honorable members so that we hear all those members who connected through Microsoft Teams. That was a comment, Honorable Weber, was not a point of order. Can I allow honorable members to do follow-up questions?
I've raised my hand, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sidibe.
Thank you. Well, Honorable MEC, I think you must roll out your sleeve, especially in this project of AgriHub, and at least come with a better program than your predecessors, because a lot of money has been wasted in the previous, to an extent that the one in Dr. Joyce Moroka was closed, and the one in Mkhuhlu is not functional. The people there are not given the opportunity to go and supply the AgriHub with the whatever they produce, cabbages and so forth, and the Kharsibande for that matter, and even including Pushback Ridge. It's a farming area. There are a lot of small-scale farmers there who produce bananas and cabbages, spinach, and all those kind of refreshment, tomatoes, etc. And the intention or motive behind building this AgriHub was to assist these small-scale farmers, at least to have a market where they can supply their products and get or make something for living. But it is not happening. It is not happening altogether. I know that for a fact previously, before you arrive in the department, they were even buying at City Deep in Johannesburg. But we have our own small-scale farmers here who are producing all those products that we need and we use every day. So I hope and believe that with your wisdom and the love of the people, as an economic freedom fighter, you'll do something for our people. So that
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mlombo, Honorable Sidibe, can you please take your seat?
Honorable Speaker, just a point of order. Honorable Sidibe is doing exactly what he says other members should not do. That the rules allows for a follow-up question, not lamentation. He is now doing lamentation and is not asking a question. Can we call him to order? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mlombo. Honorable Sidibe, that was not a follow-up question for the Honorable MEC. Can I allow...
Can I finish?
Can you please proceed to the next question? Because we have exhausted the time for this question.
I was advising the MEC.
We'll move to the next question, which is from Honorable Mashego from the ANC to ask the MEC for education. Honorable MEC, can you please respond to the questions raised?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Question from Honorable JP Mashego from the ANC reads as follows. Promoting school safety creates an open space for the learners to explore, learn and grow. The recent research has revealed that crime, gangsterism and drug abuse is happening in some schools around Government municipality, such as Twala Secondary School and Osizweni Secondary School. 1. In light of the above, can the MEC provide a reflection on the extent of drugs, crime and gangsters in our schools around the province? Response: the department, through its integrated school safety strategy, has requested the Department of Social Development as a partner to intervene. Through the intervention, it was discovered that learners in these two schools are experimenting with DAHA. Consequently, DSD is planning to provide Kimoja drug prevention awareness program in these schools. Drug abuse, crime, and gangsterism are prevalent in a number of schools. The Mpumalanga Department of Education has identified 328 schools across the province as hotspots. The integrated school safety strategy will be implemented throughout the province with a special focus on the 328 schools. 2. What measures are there to ensure that our schools are safe, learners, educators, and property is protected? Response: the department provides identified hotspot schools with drug testing devices and metal detectors on annual basis. Collaboration with the partner departments, DSD, DCSSL, and SAPS. The department also conducts awareness campaigns on drug and substance abuse, crime prevention programs, bullying and gender-based violence, as well as debates to curb the bad behavior and habits. Annually, a directive in the form of circular is issued out to schools in the province to establish school safety committees and ensure that schools are linked to the nearest police station and that each school has adopted a cop. SAPS as a partner is involved in conducting search and seizures, unannounced visits, including crime awareness campaigns to discourage the learners from any acts of criminality in the school premises and outside of schooling hours. SAPS will furthermore introduce the Junior Leadership Program to the learners. This program is meant to mold learners into future leaders who are good ambassadors amongst their peers and the community at large. The department will introduce the learners to new exciting programs such as the Sports Against Crime, where they will be competing with other learners, dialogues and debates on substance abuse. Career expos are being organized with institutions of higher education like Mpumalanga University, Tshwane University of Technology, UNISA, and many others. This allows the learners to see the bigger picture on why it is important for them to complete their studies without any involvement of crime in order for them to be employable in the future. Motivational talks continue to be introduced to them by influential people of that area to discourage any acts of criminality and rather stick to their education. The department is also partnering with NGOs like Safer South Africa Foundation, discouraging learners from being involved in criminal activities. Through these programs, learners from hotspot schools visit prisons to interact with inmates so as to share the challenges and experiences of incarceration. 3. Detaining the use, possession and distribution of these substances in our schools. Can the MEC outline the plan to curb this? The department has, together with partners, developed a school safety plan, and one of its aims is to fight the scourge of substance abuse in schools. The Kimoja Drug Prevention Awareness Program that is rolled out by the Department of Social Development is meant to capacitate learners in order for them to desist from participating in such activities. The department also conducts prevention services to the two schools, that is K.I. Twala School and Osizweni Secondary School. SAPS with all relevant role players frequently visit the schools, and education on substance abuse will be conducted collectively with all relevant stakeholders and parents. The school will conduct searches on a daily basis. School safety committees will be revived, and their main responsibility for school safety will be outlined as such. Parents' involvement will be strengthened in school safety. For example, parents that are unemployed or off duty will be encouraged to assist by availing themselves for searches at the gates of the school, including the SAPs and APFs. Learners found to be in breach of school code of conduct are held accountable and also assisted to get out of this situation. Staff members, if found to be acting unprofessional and peddling or involving learners in these acts, are taken through disciplinary processes, and where law enforcement is required, the department opens criminal cases. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Mashego, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, Honourable Speaker. We appreciate the response that the MEC is alluding to, but we want practical programs that will make sure that we curb this disease, because it's destroying the future of our country. Drug laws have taken advantage of our kids. We'll appeal to MEC for community safety, security, and liaison with all the intelligence structures. We will appeal that all the stakeholders that are in the school, the parents, the learners, the educators, make sure that we get information. It can't be an issue that will always refer that there are certain schools where drugs are very high, and with all the infrastructure and the machinery that we are having, but we are not bringing the people who are poisoning our future to book. So I'm happy that DSG is involved, but the MEC of Education must closely work with the MEC for community safety, security, and liaison, so that there is a proper planning and we are able to cap this thing. We were told some times ago in that around Witbank, there is what they call 2 by 1. When they buy fat cakes at the gate, it's 2 by 1. One fat cake is a fat cake. The other one, there is a mixture of those ingredients in all those things. So I'm just saying, Honourable Speaker, it can't be that crime is continue to destroy our future, and we come with, yes, we must have complex programs, but our intelligence structures must be able to cap this thing and arrest these drug laws that are destroying our kids' future. Thank you very much.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Let's appreciate what the Honourable Member is saying. It is true that schools are microcosms of society. and what is obtaining in most cases in the society is reflected in schools. Therefore, that requires interaction and working together of all those who are responsible, as education is everybody's enterprise. And we think and hope and believe that we'll continue to work with the Department of Safety and the police, and also with all other departments and everybody in the society in making sure that we curb the problem which we are facing in schools, because definitely that becomes a problem. And we have to make sure that we collaborate as a society and communities so as we can be able to do away with what is obtaining in our schools. As a department, we are continuing with programs, and we are quite happy the way we work with other departments so as to curb this problem. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Let me take this opportunity and thank all the honorable MECs for responding to the questions which were raised by honorable members. We have come to the end of the question time. These questions for oral reply that have not been responded to will be dealt in the next question time for members of the Executive Council. That brings us to the end of today's business. The House is adjourned until the 27th of August 2021 at 10 o'clock as hybrid sitting through Microsoft Teams platform.
All rise. Bogoto. Bogoto sapresa.
Banbongwe.
Mama Kosigazi.
Kamala Makhosikazi.
Shonga ngathi akawazwisisa amakhosikazi. Yini inkinga yakho Shonga? VR.
Mhlonishwa Sedibe uthini?
Ngathi awazwisisa amakhosikazi. Yini inkinga yakho?
Ngwazwisisa kakhulu. Concentrate. No, bengiconcentrate kuma-questions nama-responses. Ama-questions abahlonishwa nama-responses abahlonishwa. Ngiyabona ukuthi sisafuna ngizofundisa ukuthi i-government isebenza njani.
Yeah. As a leader of government business, you must teach, man. Must teach them, man.
Nawe. Nawubuza ama-questions uthi your predecessors this and that. Wawakubona phi lokho government?
Yeah, bekukhipha lapha esitulweni khona kanti kungenile. Awuzweke.
Yakwazi.
Kanti ifikile bekuncinza. Lele akusho ukuthi ngishakuzwakala.
Next.
Manje sengiqedile nemzalo wami.
Today is day 10.
Okay, so Sesine, you have assisted us a great deal. It was a disaster today.
This is painful. Only the chest.
No problem.
No, when I was printing, it's